Before you jump into your research, I want to just talk about some of the things that we look for. Your guiding questions are: what do you need to know to refine or to make more precise or clarify your learning goals and products so you have a really clear vision of where you want to go with your project? What do you need to know in order to write your success criteria and an action plan eventually? And how do we maintain academic honesty? So we're going to start with source evaluation. This helps you develop information and media literacy skills. It reviews your sources for credibility and reliability. And you really look for three things: a point of view. Is it biased? What's the purpose of writing this? Is there a group or organization that has a separate goal behind your source? When was it published? What was the last date that it was published or updated? Is this current? And then expertise. Is there an author identified? Who is this author? And do they have works cited or other things? Now, for your projects, you should always look through these three criteria, but it might depend. So I had a lot of coding projects last year. So if you're doing a code that predicts weather, you might go on to Joe Schmo's blog and get some code from their blog. Now, you always need to cite them. But in terms of credibility, if that code works, you don't always need to know who it is and how recent it is, as long as that code is effective. So always look for these three things, but know that for this particular project, some of these might depend on your topic. All of you will also make a bibliography, which develops your information literacy skills. I recommend you use MLA style. You should absolutely use one of the tools. I have a bunch listed to help you format your list properly. You need to maintain it throughout the process, and we should have between 2 to 3 sources. And so this is so important because you want to give credit where credit's due. You do not want to take credit for somebody else's ideas, direct quotes. You always want to give that original credit back. You want to be able to show your work. You want to avoid plagiarism. You want to pay it forward, and you want to adhere to the standards of academia, which is that we give credit. And if I'm looking at your project and I'm curious to learn more, I can go to your works cited or your bibliography and your references, and I can find more information in them. And so you always want to make sure. This is also one of the criteria for your final report. It has to pass Seneca Valley's academic honesty to earn credit for the MYP research seminar course. There's 6 really big components when you're making your works cited page: the author, the name of the web page, the name of the website, the date, URL or the actual website address, and the date of access. Most you'll be using websites, so I'm showing how to cite those, but if you need help citing anything else, you can always go to our library media specialists. They are fantastic and happy to help. And so here's an example. These are the 2 sources that I used for the Native American success criteria that I was writing about dance. So you see I have it in the correct format. I used Noodle Tools, which is one of the options to format your works cited page, and I have all the required information. Here's a bunch of good citation helpers. I have these also printed in your handbook. So I would encourage one of these to help you properly cite and format your bibliographies. So today, you're going to get you a little bit of what do you know about your project? What do you need to know to make your success criteria? And what questions do you have? So you're going to do this first before jumping into your research. That's on page 33 of your handbook. You can just do it in your handbook. And when you're finished, you're going to jump into your assignment in your process journal. So you can do this in your handbook or in Canvas, and this is your actual research. 2 sources. You give me the link, you give a little summary, and you talk about how this might help you develop success criteria next lesson. And again, I recommend just starting your research in Google. That's a great place to just start initially learning more about your topic and finding sources. Okay, and then I also give you a template for your works cited there. You can use that, or you can use a separate one and import your works cited. Okay, so those are the 2 things you're doing the rest of class. That research assignment is due November 15th. I apologize for the incorrect date. So please make sure that you have it in by that date, so you're prepped for your fourth lesson, your second lesson in your chemistry classes. Before you go, I just want to make sure you've heard about a really great opportunity to get support for your MYP personal projects. The Think Big program is completely free. It's 5 field trips. You get to see professional artists perform, you get to interact and talk to them. And it's really based on the idea that artists share their process so that you can learn more and apply it to your process for your personal project. It's great if you like the arts, but you do not need to be doing a project in the arts or involved in the arts to participate. We've had students have all sorts of different projects and just use the Think Big as a way to ensure their success. It is free. You do not have to do any extra work. In fact, this will help you complete your personal project. It looks great for colleges. It looks great on a resume. And just to give you a little bit of an idea, we start our first field trip is Tuesday, November 12th, and we have ones all the way through May. So kind of sprinkled throughout your project process to help support you along the way. And an example agenda, this is our first one in November. You'll do a community builder with Kennedy High School will also be there. You'll learn about success criteria a little more. We'll unpack them a little bit more. You'll see artists perform and they'll talk about how they write rubrics and determine their own success. You'll get a free lunch. And you'll see a second artist, and then you'll have time to work on your own success criteria by creating a vision board. So it's really a program to help support you in your success for your personal project. And I hope you consider signing up. If you're interested, you've got to do it fast because our first field trip is right around the corner. Your chemistry teacher has a couple field trip permission slips. You can also scan the QR code, and there's one later in the slides. It will put you on an interest list, and I'll get you a field trip form, and you're always welcome to stop by my office. So now you have the rest of the class to do these things. Your teachers are here to help you. Have a wonderful and productive day, and I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with.